Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with the Internal Revenue Service. Welcome to my YouTube station. It's the home of the 5-minute or less video. I worked at IRS for a decade. I've been doing this for 4 decades. I've been doing this for 50 years. I'm a national expert. I don't need a fancy suit. My office is across the street. I just tell you what you need to know within 5 minutes, and I can go ahead and do that. Many of you have come to me because you've seen all my news clips on the different news stations. I have a whole team of former IRS agents. You can look at all my videos, all my national clips, and look at my whole team of former IRS agents at 777irs.com. My contact information is below if you need to get a hold of us. I do these videos for 3 reasons: to educate you. I give you insider information from the Internal Revenue Service, and I try to educate you into the things you need to know. Today I want to talk to you about the IRS Form 4549, and I want to read this correctly. It is the Income Tax Examination Change Letter. Ain't a good letter to receive. What this means is you've just got finished an IRS audit, and that IRS went ahead and made changes to your return, and that form will be, like I said, on the 4549, and it will simply say Income Tax Examination Changes. In one column, it will say what your tax return initially showed. Then the IRS adjustments is on the next column, and then the adding or subtracting is on the next column. And what do you do next when you receive this letter that IRS went ahead and sent you an examination letter that your exam is finished, and what do you do? Well, if you have representation, you're not going to be asking this question, and many of you got this letter because you did not have representation. So as former IRS agents, what happened is you got audited, as you know, by the IRS. IRS finished the tax examination, and they sent you this 4549 saying, guess what? We concluded this, and guess what? You owe this much, and this is a proposed assessment against you. What do you do at that point in time? Well, you either take it and pay it. IRS will bill you in about 90 days. You'll get a bill and pay it, or you can go ahead and appeal it, and you can go ahead and take the case to appeals, where they will relook at the case. They will look at new information. Many times you didn't have the right information. Basically, you can ask this person to look at the different issues because you did not have all the information. If you're going to do this yourself, you must be prepared to show new information, new documentation, and show IRS, hey, the numbers that you have there are completely wrong. If this is a small audit, go ahead and engage it and take. If these are large numbers and you owe over 50, 75, 100,000, you need to get somebody to represent you, because what's going to happen, the next function who looks at that is the appeals function. Then you're going to go from appeals if you don't like what they say, and then you're going to wind up in tax court, which you probably don't want to go ahead and do. So if you have deductions and expenses and all this stuff that you did not show, you did not have, or maybe you need to reconstruct something, the best things probably that you should do at this point is, if you're not going to do this yourself, is consider hiring former IRS agents. That's what we do, to go ahead and challenge the changes that were made on the 4549. Usually you've been dealing with this auditor for some time, and the auditor is wiping their hands clean, says, hey, we've had enough of this now. Now you're going to go to what's called the Independent Office of Appeals. What they're going to do, they're going to have someone brand new look at the case. They're going to look at the report, look at the documentation you submitted, and then Internal Revenue Service will have this person go over the audit. But you're going to have new information. You just don't call and say, I don't like the information. If you don't have new information, you're wasting your time. What a former IRS agent usually can do for you is, if you don't have the records, usually they can help reconstruct or negotiate a little better settlement for you. It's all about negotiation and taking a different position. I'm going to give you a for instance. Let's say, for instance, IRS, you're a painter, and IRS disallowed most of your expenses. If we can show you had 10 jobs, and here's the addresses, and here's what you painted, and how much paint would cover these houses, you can back up and reconstruct. So IRS will have to go ahead and give you credit for more expenses. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're wasting your time. So at the end of the day, you're either going to have to accept this, or you'll have to go ahead and challenge it at the end of the day. If it's a small audit, I suggest you challenge it yourself. Don't be afraid to go to appeals. It's not going to cost you anything. If it's a large dollar, you're absolutely nuts taking on IRS by yourself, but that's up to you. Anyway, we're former IRS agents. Our contact information is below. If this information was helpful, give me a subscription, because YouTube thrives on those. I try to give you the information you want, and thank you so much for listening. Leave me a comment. I try to return as many as I can. I got a whole volume. I have about 6,000 subscribers, so thank you for the subscription. I appreciate your time.